All right, hello everyone. Welcome to a very special episode. We are going to talk about a very fascinating industry, FMCG, which is one of the most talked about industries. The careers are very fascinating. And to give us the insights and secrets of this industry, we have with us Ankeeta Raj. She has worked in three different FMCG companies on very different domains. She has understood some very, very deep and dark secrets of the industry that few of us know about. We are going to discuss them. We are going to discuss how she got those job roles. We are going to discuss what are her future plans and many more things. So, Ankita, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Shali. Thank you for having me here, first of all. So,
I'm glad, Ankita. So
I am,
I would want you to introduce yourself because there are so many questions which are answered. The only thing that I know is that you've worked in the FMCG sector in three different companies on different job roles, and you will be pursuing your MBA from the Institute of Rural Management, Anand. Otherwise, I don't know anything about you, so please enlighten us.
yeah. So basically, I'm a food technologist from Samhegi Bottom University. That's an agriculture college in Allahabad, one of the oldest ones in India. So the reason why I chose out of crowd field like food technology is because when I was from a biology background, so generally people know that okay, you become a doctor, or if not a doctor, maybe you go to the agriculture field. So even I had this kind of idea that okay, agriculture means working in the farms or like what exactly. So when I entered into that college campus, I got to know that okay, there are other things also where I can be in the private sector, where I can have very interesting job roles. One such one was the food technology thing, where I got to know that okay, whatever you have, be it chips packet like Lay's or anything, or be it PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, or Mondelez, which or Cadbury, alcoholic beverages, non-alcoholic beverages, uh, like all of that post-processing, every food item comes into the FMCG industry, into the food industry. So that looked like a lucrative career option to me. So that is how I landed up doing food technology. And like once when I went into the college, the next step for every second or third year person is like, okay, what next? After you complete your BSc, what next? Do you want to go to work for a company directly, or I want to do masters? So every second senior I came across was doing something like MSc, if not MSc, maybe MBA. So MBA looked a better thing to me because during my college days when I went for like internships and all, so when I used to keenly observe what kind of roles I'll have to do and what other people were doing. So I always had this thing that okay, I want to be in the deciding team. For example, if I look at a product, if I went to a training in some dairy industry, and I look at a product and I tell someone, a senior that okay, why don't we market this like that? Or I mean, if I have an opinion, I tell them. They simply used to tell me, no, we have a separate team for that. The marketing team is completely different, or the managerial board is not even in this plant. So I always used to think, okay, but I want to be there. I don't want to be stuck here. I can't spend my life here. I want to have, like, to add value to wherever I go. So for that, I wanted to be in a managerial position, no matter where I am. So this is how this thought started breeding in me. And then when I did some research and all, so I started liking the field of business. So I did internships in various fields. Then after I graduated, like I got an opportunity to work for amazing firms where I, got to learn different things in bits and pieces. That maybe I'll answer later.
All right, so let's jump into the roles that you've been through. So you went to three companies. So let's go one after another. How, after your bachelor's, how did you get into them? You said that you've done numerous internships. Did they help in yielding you these jobs, and how did you shift from one job to another?
Yeah, definitely, it did help. So internships in our curriculum wasn't mandatory. It was like it is upon you. You can either like during summer breaks or after every semester break. we had that option of whether we could chill in the campus or go back home and relax for a bit, or if given the option and if we can find something, then we can go for internships. Somehow I always used to go for internships. So and in the end semester we have to do a mandatory internship of 4 months. So I was there in one of the leading dairy industries in India, that is Amul. So, when I was there for 4 months, and that is when COVID happened actually. So, I am a 2020 graduate, and I was there in Gurgaon, the place where the maximum COVID cases were coming. So, my parents and everyone was very tense. It was a panicking situation. Unfortunately, we couldn't stay there and we had to come back. So after I came, and because I was in a dairy industry, I got to know about the detailed nuances of this industry. That okay, there are some players in the market. There are some upcoming dairy, brands that sell organic milk. So organic milk basically is that rather than just having milk, you get an enriched milk which has vitamin D or extra nutrients added to it right from the beginning, like. The feed that they feed to the cows, even that is highly nutritious. So from the very beginning of the chain, they are feeding extra nutritious, feed and fodder to the cows, so that the milk that comes out eventually is like,
Is
you
an
don't
extra
have
quality.
to
Yeah.
add, yeah, you don't have to add anything externally. So it's pure, it's raw, it's organic. So these things were fascinating to me. I got to know that okay, there are celebrities and people like that who consume such milks, which would cost you maybe 100 or 150 liter per liter, or maybe even more than that. So when I came back home, surprisingly, I got to know via a random article in a business magazine. I got to know that okay, there are two IIM returns, IIM foreign returns, who have come back to Ranchi. Uh, that is my hometown. Like I belong from Jharkhand, a small city in Jharkhand named Bokaro Steel City is where I hail from.
Which is a
So
steel city of
it was
India.
very, yeah, the steel city of India. So it was very surprising for me, that someone had dared to do something like that, bring a premium product like that in a tier 3 city in Jharkhand. So I was very amazed and I just reached out to them. I emailed them as a congratulatory email for their brave step and for the good things that they were bringing in Jharkhand. So, and I also like approached them that if at all they wanted or they were looking for any franchisee sort of thing for someone in Bokaro, then I was interested. I thought I'll talk to my parents and do something, but at first I needed to talk to them. I approached them and they, replied back. So they replied back to me saying that, okay, hi, it's glad that people are acknowledging it and all. And they said right now they have already, they are already in talking terms with someone for the franchisee thing. But yeah, they would definitely want me to be on board in their team, in their core team, because I'm a food technologist and those people were engineers. So they were IIT, IIM, but they needed
They
someone from the
needed
field.
someone from the field. Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah. So they were like, it would be a great combination. I mean, if you want to do something in this field, rather just join the team, be there with us, work with us. If you feel like we can take this forward in a business way, but like right now, let's just join the team. And since I was just a graduate, I had just graduated a month ago. So it was the best thing for me to work for someone that I was admiring. I joined the team, and that is how I landed up with my first job. So it
Wow.
was
So
spontaneous and it was amazing.
I
Yeah.
think one lesson that I can genuinely sense from this is a lot of people take many prerequisites for granted, that these are, the kind of formal ways of entering into the industry. You talk to the HR, you talk to the concerned person, you should have some recommendations. I think is it's as spontaneous as you just mentioned, especially with startups and small
Yeah.
companies, because they're looking for good people at the end of the day. The processes don't matter at the end of the day. If you have the capabilities, if you're confident enough, confidence plays a key role. And the point is, just keep on trying, keep on applying for your roles suitable to you, which you are interested in, and you'd find something. Don't just wait for these HR opportunities or the formal ways of getting employed. Something very fascinating. So let's jump to what your job role was. You introduced me with the concept of the company and the product. Now, if I can just know what your exact job role was and how did the company benefit from your skills?
Yeah. So when I joined the team, they were just about to launch Puresh Tail. By then, they were just operating in the capital of Jharkhand, that is Ranchi, and they were about to expand. So when I joined the team, they were about to launch Puresh Daily in Bokaro, that is my home city. So I initially joined their team, learned from them as a trainee for a month or so, and then I was given the sole responsibility. Okay, before that, I was also part of their operations team. And I could sense that I was managing things appropriately. Like it was at par of what they were expecting out of me.
On a
So
very basic,
they gave me this.
on a very basic question, what constitutes an operation team and what do they do? And it's a very rudimentary question, but in the FMCG industry,
Yeah.
what is the meaning of an operation team?
So for a startup in a FMCG, I mean, for my company, it was more like, you know, taking care of the milk collection from the farms till the milk reaching the plant, till the pasteurization process and all of those things, filling in the glass boxes, and till the delivery, timely delivery of things. So we even had an app. The entire chain was, application based. It
Okay.
was automized. Yeah, so like we used to keep a track of the delivery staff of where they are at every point.
Mm-hmm.
Even the customers could have a track, okay, at what time they, just like Swiggy, Zomato, how we can track our delivery partners. So it was just like that. They could change the quantity and quality of milk, like overnight and things like that. So
Was the
it was
final
just
package
those
was the
things.
final package similar to that of Amul, like in the plastic bags, plastic
No, no,
pouches,
no.
or it was like
No, it was like we used to do the delivery in glass boxes, so food
okay,
grade glass.
okay.
It was like glass bottles,
They should
reusable
feel the
ones.
premium product, yes.
Obviously, yeah. So that is how I was the one responsible for the launch. I had a small team, and like with the help of the team, we launched Puresh Daily in Bokaro. So from launching, then there were days initially when along with other, there were other people, two, three people were there, but then along with them, even I had to do cold callings on some day. Okay, so like we do all sorts of advertisements, and we see the result is not at par with what we expected. So we go the traditional way. We are like, okay, fine, let's just start doing cold callings.
Let's go old
Okay,
school.
so let's just go traditional, and we did cold callings. We would, talk about our company. We would tell them what we are serving and why it is important for them. Because people have this notion that, okay, when I fall sick, I will spend 2,000 rupees and go to a doctor and get myself checked. But rather, I would not buy something worth 200 if I'm paying 50 rupees for something, and if I'm getting something of a much better quality for rupees 200, I won't buy that. So people have this notion, they don't pre-spend to
Yeah.
better their health. So
Hmm.
this is what, like, this was a mentality change, because this was a first time that a product like that was launching in Bokaro Steel City. So, it was very difficult initially to gain the initial 15, 20 customers, to gain their trust, especially because in Bokaro Steel City, people are working into a 9 to 5 job, and that is also pretty chill because it's a government job.
Yeah.
Okay, so every second person there is walking to the, milkman, and they're standing there, they're taking milk and coming home. So now suddenly someone comes in the city and tells them that, okay, your milk will be coming from a faraway land, and it is going through these processes, it is much better, blah blah blah. But then people have to trust you. So initially it took a while for people to trust us, but then word of mouth spreads like anything.
Yeah.
Right, so that is how we gained trust of people, and the people started recommending other friends, especially the fact that they felt supreme. Like, if you have a 20 rupees coffee, but if you go to Starbucks and have a 180 rupees coffee or a 280 rupees coffee, you make, mostly people make sure they post
Yeah.
a picture because they feel supreme.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it was more like that. People started feeling that, okay, I belong to a better, class.
Yeah.
So
And what was the
that
difference
way,
of price between, like, let's say Amul is considered to be like a benchmark product of milk, and if you
yeah,
compare them with Amul, what was the price back then?
back then in my city, the difference was around 20 rupees.
20 rupees per?
We couldn't per liter, the difference was 20.
Okay.
Whatever the rate of Amul was, according to that, it was 20-25 rupees more. But we were serving like A2 milk.
Okay.
That was, or completely organic and home delivery and things like that. So, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, surprisingly, within 6 months of operation, we were selling 100 liters per day. So, yeah, in a city like Bokaro,
Bokaro, yes.
I mean, I have been a resident of that place my entire life. It was very surprising for me, and I had to write a congratulatory email to those people. How brave of you to think of launching something like this. And then 2 months down the line, I am the person who is responsible for the operation in that city, and we launched it in the month of July or something, and by December we were surprised that we were increasing our customer base by 12 to 15 people per month. It was a slow process, but then those people were retained. They were not going away. It's not like, they came, they tried the service, and in 1 month they've gone back. So that was like helping us build the trust. We realized that, okay, if your service is good, people will stay. People will take the premium product too. So yeah, that is how it was.
I think that's one of the the fortes of healthy products, or if you're working in healthy service environment, that once people get hooked to it, then the customer retention is relatively higher than other products.
No
if I go to, let's say, DMart, I would buy soaps whichever is nearer. But if I know that I have some sort of a skin condition, or for my normal skin, this certain soap or its fragrance or anything suits me the most, someone praises me that this, you smell good, or whatever the compliments may be, I would feel that, okay, this product is like mine now. I associate myself with that product, so I would pay more, I would go a mile forward in order to purchase that. So I think that's a good takeaway. I would find that if you're working in a product which gives you nutritious value, which gives you health benefits, then you would stretch yourself as a consumer, you would stretch yourself, and you can count as a manager that you can count on customer retention based on that product. That's really fantastic. So let's go ahead.
Yeah, and my job was very exciting because it was not stick to one role per day. So it wasn't like a mundane thing where I had to log in and I had to do the same old stuff from 9 to 5 and then I had to log out. So someday I'm doing some calls, someday I'm interacting with customers live, someday I'm dealing with maybe the operational challenges that we have, because since it's a dairy industry, it's the cattle's health and all that, it's very unpredictable. You never know when you can face such problems. So or maybe someday we're just doing since I am a food technologist, I had done trainings in the dairy industry twice. So I knew how to test things, and we also had a formal person for that, like a microbiologist who used to do the milk testing and all. So someday we are just shooting, we are randomly sampling milk from different places and then testing it against our brand. So someday we are just blogging of the health benefits of what our products have. And even some days, some of the customers used to, I remember an incident where a customer just recommended someone who had a child who had some serious health issues. So they were not very, they didn't have much faith in other existing milk vendors, and they came to us, they were talking to us and telling, okay, these are the problems that my daughter has. I mean, will your milk be effective for her? I mean, can she consume it? So we got our microbiologist to check what all chemical compositions are there, and if it's possible for her or not to have it. So whether we are able to help out or not, but it's very relaxing and it's very satisfying. People are trusting us or looking at us at that level where they're coming to us for these things. So yeah, this is pretty much how it was.
Fascinating. So then what happened?
Then surprisingly, the COVID wave 2 came. So there were some issues, the internal issues, because of which we had to take a halt for a while. And we had to stop the operations in our
Hmm.
city.
That's unfortunate, but I think that's it has impacted. Like one of my friend is currently doing his PhD on the amount of the impact of COVID waves on the FMCG industry, on the MSME specifically. And the results are it is the most disruptive event of the 21st century by far. So of course, huge
Definitely.
business heads have destroyed their empire. So I think it is very normal for startups to get affected. So
No, initially, if COVID did not happen, maybe
yeah.
we wouldn't exist because,
Hmm.
I mean, how else do you manipulate someone to, not
Hmm.
manipulate, maybe I'll take my word back, but yeah, how else do you tell someone to, sit at home, relax while we bring milk, some of the most essential item to their house,
Yeah.
completely safe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is how the company started. There were some unfortunate incidences because of which we had to take a halt and because of which I had to kind
Hmm.
of lose my job also at that point of time. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is how it ended for that
Hmm.
company. So my
So
journey ended over there, and I took a break. And after some time, like while the COVID second wave relaxed a bit, I joined my second company, which was in the bakery sector. So this, yeah, sorry, you asked something.
so you have to so you name the company and how did you get there? That's how the flow will go.
Okay, okay, fine. So this company name is Bakery Wale Foods. This is a startup again in the bakery sector based out of Ranchi. So, and the owner of this company was someone who was responsible for a bakery brand. I mean, he was the plant head of that bakery brand where I had done my internship back. I mean, some 2, 3 years ago, I had done an internship from there, a 15 days internship. So I had been under his supervision for a while, and maybe he would have felt that like she was, something like
Competent.
where he could reach out to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he started his company, I was there. I mean, at that point of time, I was unemployed only. I was idle. I was free at home after I graduated. So when he contacted me and he, told me that he's starting a company of his own in the bakery field. So he's a chef and he has had an amazing experience.
Hmm.
When he said, I was very excited, and he just told me that I need to be there. I need to take, I mean, he will take care of other things. I need to take care of the marketing and the quality control. So he explicitly told me I need to be there, and I was glad enough to join, obviously. So again, this again landed to me surprisingly in
Yeah.
a not so formal way, and this is something that a lot of times students go for internships. Even I have done that. They'll choose a place which is more beautiful,
Yeah.
which will give them more chill time,
Hmm.
and they'll just get a certificate for the namesake, and it will be fine for them. So that they can show to people
Hmm.
on paper that yeah, they have done
Hmm.
internship from such and
Hmm.
such place. But it is important for students to realize that wherever you go, no matter people tell it explicitly to you or not, but they are judging you,
Hmm.
because there is absolutely no reason why someone who's not even related to me would contact me after 3 years on the basis
Hmm.
of what he observed in me for 15 days, three
Hmm.
years ago. Right. So, I mean, because I used to have some sort of queries every day. He used to send us. We were a team of 4, 5 girls, and he used to send us. Okay, do this, do that. He would give us one assignment per day, and when we came back by the end of the day, he would call us in his room, and we had to give him a sort of report for the day of
Hmm.
what we observed, what are the
Hmm.
things that we could recommend. So I always had some or the other question for him. If there was something or the other that excited me or that would
Hmm.
intrigue me, and I would
Hmm.
want him to answer that. So these are some of the things that he noticed. And later on, it brought me goodwill as a job offer from him directly.
Wow.
So you never know.
Hmm.
So this is how I got my second job.
If I consider this entire, if this entire conversation about your second job, what I feel is that I think two things are very important. Students take internships for granted. They think, as you said, it's just a piece of paper. It's a prerequisite in order to get your MBA degree or your master's degree. But as you said, it's not the case. The more you utilize it, the better it is for your own future, for your own career. And being proactive in internship is very important, because what I feel about internships is that the employer is not required to get the 100% of you. Interns are basically, for many organizations, they are actually a liability, because you have to assign
Exactly.
someone who would keep giving them the
Exactly.
information that they need, and they, of course, they are not competent, knowledgeable enough in those 15, 30 days that they would provide something substantial to their organization or the industry. So all in all, it's a learning phase. The more you, I've seen debates about the types of industry, and especially the stipends. Good college students have raise issues of the stipend. Of course, I'm not saying that you should work on as a slave or as a labor, but the point is that your sole focus should be about the knowledge. And as you said, I think questioning the officers, the concerned authority, is very important. The kind of questions that you would ask would also determine your intelligence to them. And if
Exactly.
you are deemed confident and compatible to these people, the more are chances that you would be offered the job role, as is the case with you. So
A
please
very
go ahead.
important
Yeah.
point what you mentioned, that there have been a lot of debates regarding the stipend and all. One should not forget that during internships, we have gone there to learn. I mean, they are not responsible to make us learn or teach us something. If I mean, people who are responsible to teach us something are professors in our college. The company people have their own work.
Yeah.
And they have to spare out some time to give us some insight of the industry. So it's our responsibility of how much we can grasp. So in that company also, actually, there was a revolutionary change at that point of time when I was interning. So in any bakery industry, they use eggs a lot.
Okay.
This is one of the core ingredients of any bakery
Ingredients.
item.
Yeah.
No matter which company you go in, they use eggs a lot. So somehow there was some German technology or something, and it was a new thing where they had introduced pasteurized liquid egg. It's something that the industry people would be aware of. So that had reduced a lot of wastage of eggshells, and a lot of other processes had been simplified because of that introduction. It had its demerits and all also. So I was very eager to know about the details of that, and I was looking at it as a business point of view. What if in the later future I put something of my own in this area, in the Bihar Jharkhand region, according to the geographical area or the accessibility to the markets that would be there, to
Yes.
the bakery plants and all those things. So I mean, at a very small level, but I had these questions or things like that, and I used to often approach the plant head with such questions. Fortunately for me, that he used to entertain these questions and he used to answer me too. So all these things give an impact. And I mean, this is how I got the second job of mine. And then when I joined the team, it was a fun role. Again, it was something in the health sector, because what we were doing is we were trying to change the way people snack, the
Okay.
evening snacks and things like that. So we were trying to introduce cookies that were healthy.
Okay.
Mostly all of our items were, be it a breadstick or cakes and things like that. So we used to use gram flour or wheat flour rather than refined flour. So small changes here and there, which could be a better alternative for people to have a little bit healthier snacking option as compared to what they were regularly having. So somehow healthy food options had always attracted me, and I was all in for that. So even in this company, this is what we were doing. And since I was also directly involved in the marketing aspect of things, so or the supply chain, like our staff would just take bundles of our items and go to different shops. So now even small things like placing the product and all that, even though they matter a lot in the company's sale. Maybe later I'll tell you how. But yeah, this is how, I mean, on the ground level, I was able to gather a lot of knowledge of how a company functions, of how things work.
So
Sitting
the
in one place,
product,
maybe I
if I
can
would
think
just
that.
if I would just clarify, the product was the cookies that we eat, but they were healthy in nature, and
Yeah,
they may be a bit expensive than the cookies that we have. So cookies is a very is a very American way of saying things. We call them biscuits, which is the British way of saying them.
yeah,
So the Parle G, the 20-20, 50-50, the biscuits that we eat with tea or with coffee, these are the cookie segment that you're talking about.
yes,
And the
yes,
fresh baked cookies, I think the one we get on Subways, and they are costly. Like they are like the size of a palm, and they're large. They're
yeah.
freshly baked. They're soft. So these are like the fresh cookies. So what cookies are we talking about on your business, and what was the shelf life of those cookies?
Um, so the cookies that I am talking about is more like what Britannia or Unibic or other brands like that are selling. So and the shelf life used to be somewhere around 5 to 6 months.
Okay.
So the difference here was that the regular cookies that we are talking about usually are made of refined wheat flour, that is maida, as
Okay.
we mostly know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason why every other bakery industry uses maida is because it's it can, the dough can be made nicely, and it's fluffy and all. Okay,
Yeah.
so but obviously maida is not very healthy for us. So we used to do wheat flour, cookies made out of wheat flour, that is atta, whole wheat.
Yes.
Or we would sometimes, there were different cookies. There was something like Nipat. It's a funny name because it had everything that would be, you'd be done with, like having green chilies or roasted gram flours or onions or coriander. Sorry, curry leaves. So there were very interesting combinations. Or
That was part of the
for someone
cookie.
who's a yeah, and even for
Really?
someone like, yeah, for someone who is a
Wow.
diabetic, but they love something, to munch on. So we even have had cookies that were made of sesame seeds and jaggery.
Okay.
So the dough is of whole wheat, and then the ingredients that are there is honey, sesame seeds, jaggery. Or there are multi-grain cookies. There are cookies
Yeah.
that have all sorts of dry fruits in them. So if for people whose children don't like to have dry fruits, and so they could give them cookies. Cookies, it's something that every child also loves. So we had exciting range of cookies that had various combinations of different healthy ingredients in them.
Yes.
It was a fun thing, it was a good company to work for. When you like when you're excited
Hmm.
about the product yourself, it will be fun for you to work for them.
Does
So that
sound
is how it
very
was.
does sound very, very interesting. So now we talk about your third and final company that you worked for. You worked there for quite a while, and now you're here with me. So what was the company like, and what did you do?
So my third company was Anas Hospitality and Trading India Private Limited. So this company is basically in the hospitality sector, something very different from what I earlier worked for. So they basically you know they put up cafes and interesting restaurants and all that in places like Bengaluru and all. And they even have a sister company named Ask for Delhi Food Manufacturing Private Limited. So this company basically caters to the entire non-fuel retail of Shell. So Shell India has a food and beverage unit also named Delhi to go in their fuel stations. So
Shell
we
India is the petrol pumps that you see on your cities. So they are
yes,
primarily the
yes,
energy company, but you're talking about the Shell India petrol pump units, those commercial units where you get your
yes,
car refueled.
yes. They have their operations, their fuel stations in Gujarat, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. Not too much in North India, but yeah, in these coastal
Hmm.
states, they have their presence. So the interesting thing about this company was that Actually, it's a funny story again. I don't know how I land up with such jobs, but yeah. So I was actually, after some of my examinations of CAT, I was going through some YouTube videos. I was just randomly watching a vlogger, and at midnight, he was doing some advertisement of an app which had founders of different companies directly, being there and hiring people, talking to them directly. So this was very exciting to me, uh, that founders are there themselves, and not an HR or something is there. So somehow I just downloaded the app, and right away I scrolled and I uploaded my CV and things like that, and I got hold of one job role by the afternoon next day. So this is how the third job
People
came in
don't
my
find
life.
internships that quickly, and you're talking about a full-time job.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this works, but yeah, that is how it is. So the funny thing about this, I mean, not funny, interesting thing about this company was that in their description, they had mentioned that they wanted someone who would be interested in doing all sorts of things, where they have to set up cafes, look at the entire launch operations of a business and things like that. So this was pretty relevant to what I had earlier worked for in Puresh Daily, my first job. So that is why I applied. And when I interacted with the founder, he told me that that I even had to. I mean, my presence would be involved in his other company as well, which worked for Shell. So when he told me about this thing, that they're about Delhi to go, I, belonging from North India, had no idea that something like that even exists in India, because the only thing I knew was that I used to watch something of this sort in Hollywood movies, where the car would stop by a fuel station and they just take a quick takeaway of food item and they'd go, be it a coffee or some food parcel or something. So I did not know that even fuel stations in India are having these type of things. So I was very excited that, okay, I mean, this is something very new uh, from what I was aware of. Plus, the cafe business that their
So a counter
other company
question
was
is that
focusing. So
the food court, we can say it on a very vague term that you're talking about, was the company part of the Shell, or the company had how was it related to Shell? Like it was Shell was the
it
parent
was a
company, or they had a
contractual basis,
contractual base? Okay, okay,
third party vendor kind of thing, where
okay.
I mean, we were taking care of the raw
Mm,
materials
mm,
supplied to Delhi to
mm,
go, or
mm,
even the L&D for their baristas and
mm.
staff. So
So
we
do
were
they
giving
share?
L&D
So
training for
like,
them.
do they share profits, or do they give rent, or is it a dual thing? Like, what kind of? I'm not sure
No,
if you're
it's like
well
a
versed with the terms,
service.
but like, what
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah, I get it.
for? Yeah.
No, it's just like we are giving service to that company.
Okay.
Ask for Delhi was operating like a B2B business.
Okay.
We were working for Shell. Shell was
Okay.
directly dealing with the customers. So we were not directly involved with the customers.
Okay. 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 So you were just
We were
providing the
one of the
services.
vendors of Shell.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Get it.
we were
Get
one
it.
of
Get
the
it.
vendors of Shell
Yes.
for one of its non-fuel retail line
Mm-hmm. And it would be
operations.
branded as Shell only. Your company would just be on the back
Yes,
end management.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
And what
So Delhi to go
products?
is their food.
Yeah. So what products did they serve in the food court?
They have quick bite items like sandwiches, wraps, things like
Okay.
that. Idli podis
Mm-hmm.
and sambar idlis,
Mm.
or coffee,
If
tea,
you can just mention prices
etc.
also, that would be helpful to exactly envision what kind of store are we looking at.
This was basic. The reason for their setup was because in India, if you look at the highways, the only place we have to sit and have something midnight, or to have a pit stop is at the dhabas.
Yeah.
So this is where everyone,
Mm.
the logistics people or the truck
Yeah.
drivers, or
Mm.
everyone is coming and
Family
sitting.
person, or just a
Yeah,
corporate traveling, every kind of crowd would jam into the same place, and those hotels would have a
exactly.
very common name: Hotel Welcome, Hotel Sahyog. I think
Yeah.
we
So
go pan
if the
state, but the
hygiene
names
and
are the
things like,
same.
yeah. So even hygiene is a little dicey in
Yeah.
those places.
Hmm.
And even safety for
Yes, for women. Yes,
for
I
women.
would
If
agree.
if you
Yes.
are a person,
Hmm.
you are on a family trip, and
Yeah.
midnight, if people are hungry, your family is hungry,
Yes.
and you want to take a stop, this is the
Yeah.
only place you can
I've
stop at,
seen
where
people
everyone is
avoiding.
sitting
I've
down.
seen people avoiding washroom breaks or food breaks specifically because they are women
Exactly,
accompanied by them, and they would not
because of
want to
safety
stop by a
concerns.
place like that. Yes, of course.
Yes. So this was the primary reason of setting up something like this in India, because it was not there. There are bikers, who travel all the way. So if they have something like this in a highway, a nice cafe kind of setup where there are CCTV cameras, there is a place to charge your phone, there is a place to sit and have good quality tea, coffee, or any quick bite item. So any family, any biker, any person on the road would feel safe and happy to be there.
Hmm.
So this is why this business came into picture.
Wow.
And even for metropolitan cities like Mumbai or Pune, Ahmedabad, or Bengaluru, anything like that, so we have traffic situations, pretty bad traffic conditions in these
Yes.
cities, right? So if you are rushing for your office, and meanwhile you have to get your vehicle fueled, and in the meantime, if you can have a quick cup of coffee, you know, and a sandwich, so it would be lovely. You don't have to stop somewhere and go order, take it. I mean, spend
Hmm.
that extra time. Rather use it over there only, and while your vehicle is getting fueled, or
Hmm.
the tire thing is getting fixed and things like that, you have your thing ready. A
Yes.
nice sealed takeaway. So this is how that business came into picture. It was nice only to I mean, know
The
about
question
something
is,
like
are
this
the
being
products like
operational.
costlier than the regular hotels or
No,
restaurants?
no,
If you
not
can just give
really.
me like a price range, like how much would a tea cost?
Maybe in the range of 30 to 50 rupees.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
a tea would cost something around 40 rupees. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, if you're using a
Hmm.
everything of high quality, if
Hmm.
everything is in line with
Yeah.
HSSE or all
Hmm.
of the standards
Hmm.
that there
Of
is to
course, like I
follow
can
according to
envision a 30,
FMCG.
50 rupees tea coffee, because if you go for 100 rupees, that's kind of high standards of those cafes that you
Exactly.
find on the upfront part of the cities. If you are going about 10 rupees for tea coffee, that's kind of the tapri that we find on the crossroads. 50 rupees is the
Yeah,
mid range that I can imagine.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So that is how it function. That is how Delhi to go and brands like these function.
And how did you
So
be a part of that? Like, what was your job role?
so in the company, I was executive assistant to the director's office. So
Okay.
everything that the director was involved in, I
Mhm.
was involved in it too.
And
So
what was
again,
the director involved in?
everything. If he's the owner of the company, he is basically involved in everything. So
Hmm.
be it software upgradation. I mean,
Hmm.
if we are opening a new site at a new site, so right from the software integration for the POS and things like that, till the the fixing the prices for everything. So for that, you have to do a little bit of market research. You have to know what are the likings of the people, what kind of crowd you will be catering to, how much they'll be comfortable in spending for a random product like maybe a vada pav
Hmm.
or anything. So and what kind of crowd will be coming in. So
Hmm.
doing those market research, or um, I used to be a part of the L&D team, as I told you that I even used to cater to the L&D content. I
Hmm.
used to prepare it for them.
Hmm.
So, the way we used to train our staff, that, okay, if someone is coming to our place, we have to be excellent even in our service.
Hmm.
For example, for any food chain that you come across, be it KFC or McD or Domino's, okay, so
Hmm.
no matter what state, what city,
Hmm.
what place you go, you
Hmm.
get the same, almost the same taste, right?
Okay.
That is because they have a standardized SOP, that is standard
Hmm.
operating procedure. So the
Hmm.
staff there cannot do things on their own,
Hmm.
no matter what quantity of sausage they have to put,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
any basic thing. So it
Hmm.
is all standardized and in
Yeah.
line with the decided
Hmm.
procedure.
Hmm.
So taking care of all of those things, or be it being involved in the social media
Hmm.
part where we do the marketing.
Hmm.
So be it photo shoots and all those things. So in bits and pieces, I was there involved in everything. So very jack of all, master of none situation for me, but this is somehow
No,
how. Yeah,
I think
sorry.
I think what I feel about this specific trait is that a lot of people do they make these people feel inferior, that they have had like a small bits and pieces knowledge in different domains. But what I feel is that if you basically integrate all those learnings, what you have is a model of your own. It is the intelligence that you have cultivated for yourself, and I think it helps in the longer run, especially in the fields of consulting, where you're talking about consultants. They are not
Yeah,
gods. You're talking about this person is a consultant. They switch their domains on overnights, so they do have to read on different topics, and they don't get well versed within one night or 1 month. So the point is,
exactly.
this is how you attain knowledge. You work there, you work for a while, you get the knowledge, you apply those skills to some other domain, you get those skills, and that's how there's a cascading effect of skill building. This is how I see it. I don't see any reason to make anyone inferior who have worked in different industries in a short span of time, on different jobs on short span of time. COVID was also one of the factors where it was not in people's hand to retain their jobs. So shaming people for this is, I think, it's ridiculous. So now we come to like the elephant of the room, that the jobs are going well. You have this superpower that you point your finger at one job, and within 48 hours somehow you convert it. My question is, how did you decide to take up MBA? Because you're going to be part of Institute of Rural Management for the PRM 44th batch. How did it come to your mind to take up the MBA course, and how did it go?
The MBA was always plan A for me. But again, I did not want to jump into doing MBA right away after my undergrad, because I really believed in the fact that I mean, that was my personal point of view, that I thought I needed some industry knowledge. And only then I could relate more to what was being taught to me. I mean, if I come out of a college and then I sit to another college, I talk to you about some world that you have not seen, you have not experienced, you have not known. Then you can just fantasize or think of it, and keep on. I mean, thinking, okay, this is how it will function. This is how we have to perform. This is how we have to think. But if I've been there, done that, now when I come sit and study those things theoretically about the business aspect of
Hmm.
things, so now I can relate to everything practically.
Hmm.
When things will be taught to me, I can relate. Okay, this is how this works. This is the
Hmm.
theoretical aspect of it. So
Hmm.
MBA was always there on the plate.
Hmm.
It's just that I was delaying it for the right time, and then COVID
Hmm.
also happened, so
Yes.
the
It
delay
disrupted
went for
the
a longer run.
timeline. Yes. Hmm.
Yes. So, and these jobs have always been a building block in the MBA life that I wanted after this, because I somehow had an entrepreneurial mind always. Okay, so I wanted to do something of my own, and I really feel that these jobs have helped me in a way that, okay, it's just like someone was paying me to learn what to do and what not to do when I do something of my own. Okay. So even if in the last company that I was working for before this, somehow I used to feel if I have the right amount of money with me, maybe I can straight away start something. I mean, I have gathered that much knowledge now, and I can just choose a place, book a land or something, and I can start something of my own. When I came here, so we had foreign investors, we had all the people, the right people you need, the right amount of money or the skill set or the experiences that you need to run a business. There were situations where one of the cafe that we launched, so we crossed the break even in 2.5 months only.
Hmm.
There was another cafe that we set up 1 year down the line, where I mean, it was 6 months, but we had not crossed the break even. In entrepreneurial journey, they say you have to give yourself 1,000 days.
Yes.
If you cannot cross the break even in 1,000 days, then you have to think of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so even if it was just 6 months, but I mean, I'm just wanting to, I mean, give you an insight of how unpredictable it is. For one cafe, we just crossed it in 2.5 months. For one cafe, it was 6 months, but we could not see the bright side of the day. Okay. So then I realized that money is not everything. You just don't know. And especially in this field, in the food industry, the market is so unpredictable. I mean, you might just have the best product that everyone needs, but people just won't buy. And you can't do anything about it. So, I mean, these are some of the knowledges that were, like diamonds to me. I mean, I would never get it from anywhere else, if not by these jobs. So, in bits and pieces, all of this was a building block for me. Be it how to interact with customers, what goes inside the mind of customers while dealing for a premium product when I was in my first company, to how the market really functions as far as the selling, as far as the sales is concerned in a company. When I was in my second company, we used to realize that at points there were, what our competing brands were in those places for the breads and things like that we supplied. So a lot of times our delivery boy would just come and he would say, "Madam, I was there. I told the shopkeeper to keep our brand's bread in the first line, and then suddenly some XYZ brand's salesperson came, and he was like, "Arey, how did you keep this in the first line? You are supposed to keep our brand in the first line and all." Then I realized it's funny, we don't notice this, but if you're not very specific of what you want to buy and you just go and you want to buy a bread, the first bread that you can have your hands on, you'll buy that, right? So even the positioning, the shelf positioning in these small kirana stores matters for a company in the long run. So maybe things like that I would have never got to know if I did not work for a startup who was operating on such a small level, right? So this was a learning for me. Even in the third company, as I told you, the unpredictability of the market, of the consumer's mindset, and all of those things, and how to do website. I mean, I am not developing the website, but now I know whom to contact when
Yes.
I have to develop a website for my product someday
Yes.
in the future, or how I have to operate and deal with people who handle social media marketing and things like that. So, I mean, all of this was adding to my future objective.
Yes.
So, and then I decided that, yeah, now is the right time that I gain theoretical knowledge of things. So, that's why
And
MBA.
what do you expect from the 2 years of IRMA? Like, what kind of skill sets, what kind of opportunities are you looking for in these upcoming 2 years?
So the most beautiful part about IRMA is their roots. I mean, for example, they have this program named VFS where they send the students to live in the rural villages, to live with their people, experience their life firsthand, and so that later in their life, when they become managers, they can actually do something for the people they lived with. So when I go to a place, I live there, I actually see what all problems they are facing, what are the difficulties in those places. Then maybe I could be more rational while deciding their betterment. Right? So, I mean, in fact, Shalin, even you are joining IRMA for the upcoming 44th batch. So, I mean, what's your take on
I
the
think
beauty of IRMA?
I would evaluate IRMA in terms of growth and opportunity is that the FMCG sector that we have been talking about since nearly an hour. I think that industry has a deep connection with the rural society and rural economy, because here is how I analyze things. Uh, the FMCG consumers are, I wouldn't say largely, because FMCG is consumed by across the destinations, be it rural or semi-rural or urban, semi-urban, whatever the classes that you want to have. But if you're talking about grassroots rural societies which have been grown out of the extreme poverty that the India has experienced after our independence, we are getting out of poverty at a very fast rate. So the new middle class, as we claim it, these people would have their needs. They would want to eat good foods. They would want to clean themselves better. They would want to, use products for their beauty, for their enhancement. They would want to feel good for themselves. That's the first thing you do. If you have extra income for yourself or your family to feed, you would not buy a luxury shoes on your first go. You would gradually start to have a better lifestyle. And FMCG is one domain that caters to a range of products that people can use in order to better their lifestyles. The kind of hair oil that I use can range from 2 rupees to 20 rupees per sachet. So what I believe is that these people are the direct consumers of the FMCG products. Of course, we as urban people are also there, but they are starting to grow their market on a very fast pace. The FMCG industry has manufacturing units, they have distribution units in these tier 2, tier 3 cities. So I think the exposure that we get from IRMA to these people, of course, with the VFS program and for our curriculum, we'll be studying different subjects on the rural economy. I think that would have a pivotal effect of how we read the FMCG industry compared to how other B school aspirants or how other non-MBA people read the FMCG industry. So I'm looking at a very bright future of the FMCG industry if you belong to IRMA, not just for a candidate yourself. As a national industry, I would say that FMCG holds some very, very good opportunities for technical person, for not technical person, for managers, for everyone. So this is how I evaluate my journey of the upcoming 2 years at IRMA. So this is how things would go, I hope.
Yeah, it's going to
So
be fun and exciting journey.
yes, fingers crossed. And we have come to the conclusion of our podcast. And I've had a very, very good, very insightful session with you. I think I know some things I can discuss with my friends and peers and whatnot. And I hope all the viewers that have joined us in this session are also going to feel the same. And we are going to use this knowledge because knowledge never goes away. We are going to use the insights that you learn from your lens of the industry we are going to put it to some good use. Thank you so much, Ankeeta. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, I did. I completely did. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Ankeeta. So, thank you so much, viewers. We are going to meet some new guests some other time with some new fascinating insights of the industry. Stay tuned. Thank you so much.